Hello, 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 Grand Rising.
Hello. Hold
How
on.
you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Now that we got the technological issues out the way, they was trying to play with your girl. Like, what is going on here?
They always hate. You know that time when greatness come together, you know they always hate. But look, we're gonna get right into it. What's up, podcast family? You know it's me, the host of the podcast, Favorite 33. And man, here on season 14, episode 10, I got this man. The guest I'm finna bring on now, well, the guest is already on. I say she's so amazing. I'm gonna say she's spiritual. She on her shit. Like, she bought her business. Like, I'm gonna tell you how I met her. I met her through my sister Felicia. She's the co-host of a podcast called Chakra and Love Healing, and she's also the host of her own podcast, Terrors and Wheat. Hope I said that right.
Yep.
You find it on YouTube. But look, y'all know who I am. I'm just gonna be quiet because this guest I got on, I say she's so powerful and spiritual. Let me just be quiet. How you doing today, Lati?
I am doing well. Thank you so much. I am well. All is well. All is good. And I'm so grateful and so pleased and so humbled to be here with all of you guys, the Seeking Knowledge audience, the tribe, and to have this experience with you. I know we've had a couple conversations that have all been super dynamic. So I know this one is going to be nothing less than amazing. And I'm stoked, brother. I'm stoked. I must tell you.
I already know. So, like, we spoke on so many different topics, like, and I'm talking from relationships to just everything. But it's some you said to me yesterday that broke it down. The whole Adam and the Eve, and can you please share that with the supporters? Because like that shit had me mind blown. Look, I want y'all to listen to this because what she about to tell y'all, like, it's gonna fuck y'all up.
Okay, I gotta do my warning, and we going into some territory here. So if they hear and they seek knowledge, so I know that they have the ability to open up their mindset and think about things a little bit differently. So I'm just gonna jump into it because you threw us right into the fire, brother. We finna go.
I need to hear this, man. Like, cause people be watered down messages and trying to beat around the bush. Nah, I like getting straight to the point.
Get straight to the point. All right. So in general, overall broad view, and then we can get into things that's a little bit deeper as we want to continue the journey down the rabbit hole. But we look at two specific relationships in terms of their representation in the text that's called the Christian Bible, right? So we have Adam and Eve, which of course, is supposed to be the first main couple, with Eve having committed, leading Adam into sin, and the repercussions of that. Which is kind of like the basis of how modern relationships work. A woman is supposed to be subservient, and she's supposed to be submissive because her viewpoint will lead the male astray. But then we also have the relationship of Mary and Joseph, who Mary was told beforehand, you're going to be with seed, you're going to be with child. It's the child of the Most High God. The messenger is coming through you. You've been chosen. And then they also spoke to Joseph and said, you're going to be with this woman. You're going to take her on as your wife, even though she's with child. You haven't known her. You're going to, etc. Just come into this partnership, into this alignment. And so what we see in this dynamic is two very different types of relationships that causes I think some confusion and conflict in how we relate to each other as men and women in this day. We have this whole red pill manosphere atmosphere where everybody's like, women's supposed to be submissive. That's the way the Bible wrote it. But is it really? Because when you jump up into Genesis 1:26 and 1:27, it says that the Most High God said, let us make man in our image, and made them male and female. So women were already on the scene. And this is further proven by the fact that when Cain slew Abel, Cain was kicked out of the garden and he went and married another person. If we take it just on bare facts, there would have only been 4 people on planet Earth, and Cain couldn't have married anybody. But we know that Adam had a first wife. First wife name was Lilith. And what was Lilith's issue or Adam's issue is that she wasn't subservient. She did not have a so-called submissive demeanor. Now, is this necessarily the issue? I would say not, because men and women both were given a charge. The Most High God made us in His image and told us both to go forth, to multiply, to be fruitful, to dominate, right? So we have a purpose separately, individually. And when the Most High God brings us together for purpose, we see now the relationship of Mary and Joseph, where they came together. They were both spoken to. The Most High told them, this is the purpose, this is your mate. It wasn't me waking up and seeing somebody that I like, oh, she was presented to me, she's flying, and I'ma just be with her. No, the Most High said, this is your wife, Mary, this is your husband, this is who you're gonna marry, you have this purpose on you, and you're gonna be with this person. Told the same thing to Joseph. So the Most High God was in the middle of that relationship from the onset. And they came together in purpose to rear the messenger, to bring forth a person that was going to bring change to the environment. They had a specific purpose. So the relationship is always wrapped around purpose. It is not about me being subservient to you or you being subservient to me, but what is it that the Most High God brought us together to do respectively together, because we magnify each other. When we come together, we create something amazing. And then I'm gonna pause right there, give you a minute to kind of, go through that, ask some questions if you have, you know what I mean? And then we're gonna go further down the rabbit hole.
I don't have no question, but I just like how you said a relationship should be built off purpose and not just a man trying to make the woman submit or vice versa. Because like when I told you when we spoke yesterday, I said it might be biased and people look at me like, because I feel like if a woman is strong in an area, and I would do it all the time, if a woman is strong in an area and she can lead an area, I will fall back and let her lead while I support. See, most men don't see it like that. Most men like, no, she's out. I supposed to be doing all this. I gotta do this. She need to be submissive. No, I like how you said relationships are built off purpose. Now that's all I wanted to say. You can continue.
Yeah, no, because that's exactly right. And a lot of things that we see, like, of course, Adam supposedly waking up and seeing Eve, right, who had been formed from him. I think, of course, it's a whole lot going on with that. That's just like, okay, really. We know from a scientific standpoint that all things are born from a woman, right? That's that alpha energy. And that's another thing that's backwards, because a lot of people say alpha male. Well, male is not an alpha energy. Alpha is a female energy. Now, when we bring in the omega, see alpha and omega, the omega is the masculine energy. It is the beginning and the ending. The alpha being the beginning because that is what births all things. That is the beginning. Everything comes out of. Now, the omega is the ending. That's the seal that it is done. It is so, right? So it's a lot that's kind of twisted that we have going on and how we are taught in terms of our essence, how we relate to one another. Of course, our genealogy and chronologically, the way that they talk about it in time and space is just all twisted. And it's all to keep the power dynamics off so that we don't relate to one another and come together in purpose. Because when we come together wrapped around purpose, it changes the world. You can change anything. You can bring down systems and strongholds. And that is what the messenger was come to do, right? Went into the churches and all these places and synagogues and kicked over stuff and called sausages ruckus. But again, who was the messenger born through? Not of the seed of Joseph, but when you read that text, it gives you Joseph's genealogy. Why are you telling me about Joseph's genealogy when the messenger came through Mary in an immaculate birth?
I agree.
Right. So why are you not telling me about Mary's genealogy? All of it shows you about how they took information and twisted and inflicted where women would be up underneath when we're supposed to walk side by.
Exactly. I do agree. I say that all the time, that a man and woman should be on the side of each other, not in the front of each other, not behind each other. Man should be on the side of us. And I say that all the time. If a man is not stronger than ever his wife or his woman or his lady is, let that person lead, man. And another thing you touched on, I like how you said, like, if the man and woman, the alpha and omega, they come together, it's like they'd be dominant, they'd be powerful. So I'm thinking how the world system is. I'm thinking about the system, how they really shun the man out of the system just so the woman can depend on the system. Like, that's crazy, man, how life is ran. If you're not really tapped in spiritually, man, you would be fucking lost. But she'll be my host, my guest, she'll be right back. But look, I know y'all going through a lot of shit in life. Y'all feel like y'all can't overcome it. Look, it's 2024, y'all made it. But look, for all y'all still got that 2023 thinking y'all can't overcome anything, guess what? If you click on Amazon right now, put my name in, DeMarcus David Brewster, or you can put the book From the Hood to the Church in. We read that book, and I guarantee you can overcome anything you face in life.
Yeah, anything. And you are definitely on my author list. So I'm so excited to be able to support you too and get that knowledge and that perspective, that viewpoint, because you're doing something that a lot of men just don't have, the support in doing, which is being vulnerable and telling your story and doing it from a standpoint that says, I'm still a man. Like, none of this takes away from this definition of what a man is supposed to be, but it actually opens you up again to be balanced in both of your masculine and your feminine energies. And that's how we become whole, right? We realize that we are whole. And in today's society, everything is based on, you have to be, first of all, it's alpha, which is distorted, but in this hardcore masculine energy, which is toxic, right? You're shutting down half, not just half, but your other whole, that person that is meant to magnify you. You guys come together and magnify each other. And again, built around purpose, not something karmic like, I just woke up and saw this person and they look good and I'm gonna just take them on because they've been presented onto me. No, that's a whole toxic lesson and on what we should not do. But allow the Most High God to speak to us and say, yes, this is the person that I've brought for you. Like, and you get that confirmation, not just based on your own sight. So I see it's so much in those two relationships that, you don't get taught about from a religious standpoint, but the world is operating on that viewpoint.
I do agree. It's like you got like everything you're saying, but I like how you say you just need to wait on the universe or the Most High to send you the right one. See that? I'm gonna admit that be my problem. I'll be thinking this be the right one, and shit just goes sideways. So that's why I did the whole episode on know those, like, because I'm thinking I met the person, she cool, and this motherfucker crazy. But it is what it is. It's like real lifetime shit.
But at the same time, it reveals to you the crazy that's in us, right? Because we have to resonate and vibrate with that on some sort of level. Every relationship comes to reveal another part of you, something that you don't see or are unable to contend with when you look in the mirror, something that you shun away or that you push down into the darkness. And when you have that reflection comes to you, it allows you to see you more clearly. Then you get a chance to practice all of those superpowers. What is your discernment? How does it resonate with you? How does your gut feel? How does your heart feel? Do you feel at home? Do you feel at peace? Or do they disturb your atmospheric space, your magnetic field, your aura around you? Is it disturbed? And if you can clue into how you're responding to them, then, and just kind of, let it marinate, meditate, you know what I mean? And see what it's going to, put it on the slow cooker and just, and let it see what it's going to do. Then most of the time you will get your answer. And oftentimes what your gut feel is pretty much right.
But no, look, I ain't gonna even lie. I thought like Felicia told me about this cosign app, right? The cosign app, and it's what's the other app? Pattern app. So I logged the person into the cosign app. I had her sign up. When I say like all our things was compatible, like say like if I had Cancer in Uranus, she probably had Cancer like in Pluto, was like everything lined up. But after a while, I got to tap back into my tarot, and I be watching somebody, what's her name? Source Tarot, but she on YouTube, she did a Virgo read, right? And she kept saying, it's a Cancer around you that's lying, that's not telling you everything. It's a Cancer around you, lying, not telling. So I'm like, this is Cancer around me. Then I got to saying her ways. See, I bumped my head a few times, but like it don't take me that long to catch on, because that's why I like listening to tarot, because it's like a warning of what's about to come. So it give you a heads up.
Excuse me, I'm drinking coffee, y'all, so my bad. But like you said though, you saw what was going on, right? You could see, people could say whatever. You know what I mean? We could sit up here and chop it up and you meet my representative, or if we online, I could paint the pretty picture. But when I get around you and I sit in your presence and I let that thing marinate, I'm not running off, oh, they fat, right? Because that's chemistry. That's root chakra speaking, right? When we come up into the sacral, what is your spirit like? What is your kingdom? Let me see your level of creativity. Are you creating goodness, or are you creating that low polarity, right? How are you transmuting energy when we get into that solar plexus? How do you move through challenging situations? How do you handle it, right? Do you get pissed off and bitter and jealous and malicious? How do you speak about past issues, past relationships? Have you transmuted that energy, or are you still disturbed in your heart space, that heart chakra? How do you speak that out? And that's going to tell me, how do you see the world, right? Are you still seeing me or anything through the veil of pain, through your past experiences, or have you opened up to see that you in the kingdom of heaven and the Most High God is omnipresent? It's around you everywhere. So I can see the good and find the good in all things. You got to give a person time to show themselves, and you will see.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I was blinded because with the she was doing shit for me, right? Like, and I'm not ashamed to speak on it. She was like buying me shit, but I always tell her, I don't want the body. Like, it's not, you ain't gotta buy me. Just give me. I'm more about time. And it's like, and that's like one of my love languages. Figures. I don't know if it's time. It's gonna be it today. I'm like, yeah, you gonna spend some time with me. And I was like, it's about the time. I don't even care about all this, but I gotta realize that I knew someone right, because like every time we had some plan, or I don't make plans anyway, but every time she say I'm gonna come this time, she never come. Like, she's always hours later. So I'm telling her, like, these really, like, I'm gonna be real, like, these like booty call hours you coming over here. I was like, you don't really rock with me like how I rock with you. So I was like, you know what? And my ancestors got the down low and everything. Then once I heard that tip already, it was like, it's Cancer around you that's lying, they not being real. You need to like basically figure out who it is. And once I heard that, I already knew who it was. Like, man, this motherfucker crazy. Like, I don't even want to get into details, man, but this motherfucker knocking on my door and shit. Like, I can be in here chilling. She come knocking on my door and shit. I was like, I'm not letting you in here. Please. I don't even lie. I had to call the police on her.
You know what? It's funny. I mean, because people, again, you think about the actions and the behaviors, right? And this is something that I had to grow through too. Like, all of us have been through it. We all had to learn these relationship lessons, and even being an overgiver, because one of my love languages is acts of service and gift giving, right? I love quality time and spending quality time, but I'm a natural giver. So I met a person and we went on a date the day before his birthday. So I bought him a birthday present, right? We had already had conversation. I knew his favorite football team, knew his name. I didn't mean to say it, but anyway, I knew his name. But so I bought a hat with his name engraved on the back and whatever, they put the stitching on the back. And for people, they will automatically assume, oh, she's an overgiver, she's a people pleaser. And I did have some of that in me, but it wasn't like I'm attempting to buy relationships. It's just what comes natural to me. But I am taking on the lesson of, fall back and pull back before I go into the giving phase. And that's really, really hard for me because I'm a natural giver, So now I give in different ways, just finding a different way to express it. So whether it's giving, blessings and compliments, or just supportive presence, a listening ear, really tuning in to what this person needs before I give, and not just giving because I think it's awesome, because I think it's cool, right? So I have come to learn a lot about myself based on the relationships, and definitely understanding that, that was what happened. And that submissive-ish, I'm submissive to the Most High God that made my life. Because if my husband strays off the path, I'm not required to follow. And that's a huge thing. See, you could be in your working something, but that doesn't mean that you're working in purpose, that you are working to work the Most High God has told us we should be doing. If you're going into prayer without me, I have no idea what the Most High God is telling you. The Most High God will come and tell us the same thing, the same way that angel told Mary and told Joseph, gave them both the same message in two different ways. You both will get it, and you will come together in purpose. So to say that I'm just supposed to blindly support you and blindly do what you tell me to do, and forget all about the purpose, the divine purpose that was put inside of me, is completely backwards. It does not accomplish what we were set here to do. That means I'm in the wrong match. You're not my person. And so we see a lot of divorces and a lot of breakups because women feel like they have been stripped of their purpose, telling us that we don't have one. And that's just not true.
Definitely not true. That's just a relationship, man. Relationships fucked everything out. I'm gonna be real. So it's just crazy. I place myself around a lot of business savvy women. I'm gonna be real, and I hate to say it, they be running plays better than these men out here that's been in the game for a long time. I'd be like, so why is a problem when a woman lead? Because they know. Because I'm gonna be honest, this is just my personal opinion. It's like a fact because I done been around men and women like this business savvy, and I done seen women catch on to things faster than a man. Like, you gotta explain it like several times. I explained stuff to like 1 or 2 times to her, and she got it and ran with it. So that's why I know. That's why, and now it just hit me. That's why men try to keep the woman bottled up or keep them under him. Because I hate to say it, ain't nothing. For example, most men are intimidated by women who make more than them.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Better than me. I'm not like that. That turned me on. Like, okay, we don't work together like that. But now I see why men want to keep women under them.
Yeah, but and again, it goes back to ego, right? It is, and unfortunately, that's what it is. It's ego. It's a sense of importance, right? But it's not their fault that they've been told that that's what the structure is, when it's false, right? Because one, it takes both of us to bring life. In Mary and Joseph's situation, it was immaculate birth, and we can get down into whether the messenger was actually male or female, but I don't want to blow y'all mad too much on that. So you just let me know how far you want to go.
The title of this is Talk That Talk. So whatever you want to share, you can talk that.
Okay, so I'll touch on it briefly, and you can let me know if you have any questions on what I'm saying. So there is proof and evidence that immaculate birth happens, right? It does. And there's been cases in modern history on my show, Tears of We Tarot Show on YouTube, on my community page. I posted the evidence, not just no Wikipedia, no nothing like that. We are talking about scientific studies who actually track the ability for women to give birth without being impregnated, without the introduction of sperm or semen. And we talk about this in movies, the whole Jurassic Park where, the dinosaurs out in the wild actually started laying eggs. That's an example of immaculate birth, the fact that we can give birth, that life will go on. But here's the kicker. Out of the 5 pregnancies in modern history, so recent history, this has happened at least 5 times, 2 women have given viable births. It's very rare that the births are viable, but they have happened. They are girls. It is each after its own kind. See, the male sperm, it dictates sex. You give me that other half of chromosomes, right? That comes in, recombination. It's either going to be an X or a Y, some sort of something that creates the male. But if I'm only female, I only have my set of chromosomes. Therefore, if I become pregnant, immaculate conception, I am going to birth after my own kind, and the infant is going to be female. It is not going to be male. So that also illustrates how the patriarchy itself wants to establish dominance in the plane. It is not because they want us to be even and come together and fulfill purpose, but they want to keep you asleep as to, you know, the natural order of things, honestly. And that's systems and thoughts against nature. That is Satan itself.
So I heard everything so you're saying. So you actually telling me that Mary's supposed to have a girl?
Yes. She could not have had a man. It would have not been biologically possible for her to birth a boy without semen. Immaculate birth results in a female child.
Wow. See, that's why I say it's a lot of things in the good book, as they call it. That's I don't even read the good book, as they call it. I don't read the book no more. I don't say God, Jesus. I say I'm a God. It's because like it's so much stuff in there that don't make sense to me. And like I did not know that concerning that if you have an immaculate pregnant, I think I'm saying that right. I'm trying to be like you.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, bro.
You have a woman.
But yeah, an immaculate birth is each after its own kind. I become pregnant without the introduction of seed, something different to my body. I'm going to birth another representation of self, which would be female. And it says that in the book, of course, each after its own kind, but we don't take it in reference to that because they separate the pieces and mix everything up. Again, why are you telling me about Joseph's genealogy when Joseph when the messenger did not come from Joseph's seed? There's no need for me to know about that. You're keeping me away from the real truth, which is how did Mary become chosen to have an immaculate birth? Why was she chosen? What is down her genealogy that she was given this gift?
And like me, because I was a full-fledged Christian when I was in seminary school, all that, and I always wondered, like, because I didn't read like the lost books of the Bibles, other little certain little books when I was on that path, and that was a question for me, like, why was she chosen? Because I know I read in the book that her mama, they secluded her and sent her to the temple or some shit. Mm-hmm. She was basically chosen. But then I'm thinking, like, why was she chosen? Like, that still didn't break. Like, so that's why it's a lot of shit in the good book, as they call it, that it didn't really make sense to me. So as I came on my journey, I was like, because I feel like I was on journeys. I was a Christian at a point in time. Then I got to study with the Hebrew Israelites. And I was like, not the ones that stand on the corner and push hate. I was more like the ones that was embracing and not saying, well, we the chosen people, you're wrong. I ain't with all that. I'm about peace.
Yeah.
I am not incarcerated. I read the Quran a little bit because I was like, shit, like I was just trying to find myself.
Yeah.
It's just damn praying shit. I was like, nah, it's like for me. But it's like my ex-wife brought me on the journey I'm on now, and she wasn't even like really applying it. Like she was doing all type of weird shit, and I was like, I didn't do the journey I'm supposed to be on because I done seen how I came on this journey, how I didn't figure out my ancestors. Like I'm still figuring out who my ancestors is. Like I just figured out that Geronimo is my ancestor because I'm Cherokee. I'm a native Indian. We all are the natives. So I'm figuring out. That's why I say this. Like life is really a journey. Like whatever your spiritual, whatever you practice, whatever you tie in, if it sit right with you, that's your spirit or your ancestors talking to you. That's why I always say it don't matter what your background is, you just apply it. Like, I'm not saying nothing wrong with you reading the Bible, because how you breaking this shit down, like, it's got me like, that's why I say keep talking that talk, Latif. But it just,
and it's so funny that I kind of went into a little bit of a rant on the show last night, because I was upset. And again, things come to show you, right? So of course, we talk about the Most High God, the Alpha, the Omega, or the eternal Lord of all of creation, as it's been given unto me, and how we can lean into that for all things. Of course, I'm looking at my cup that says all things are possible to those who believe. You would think that it's synonymous, that it's a universal mindset, that if you believe, you put your mind to something, then you can manifest it. It will become real. Everything that we are surrounded by is manifested reality. Everything was a thought before, whether it's the cell phone, whether it's Spotify, the refrigerator, the coffee cup, all of it is manifested thought coming from the spirit into physicality. And this person, two people, same video, 60-second clip talking just about this, called me a witch. I was just like, are you serious? And I've been called a witch before, so that's not new. But what was new for me was, why do I get so upset when a person calls me a witch? And I know that they are religious, most likely Christian. And no offense to anybody, but I believe in being in the flow, water. I don't believe in doing blood rituals. Like, I'm not going to drink somebody's blood and eat somebody's flesh saying that that's my pathway to salvation. It just doesn't work for me. For me, it goes against the natural order of things. Now, if I drink water when I'm dehydrated, my life would be saved. My vessel is preserved. It feeds my soul. I could speak a word into water and it changes the composition, the construct. You speak life into water and you freeze it, the crystals are going to be different than when you speak hate and nonsense. It changes. So you can see how that happens. What you gonna do if you drink some blood? You drink a cup of blood, it ain't doing nothing for you. You're gonna piss that shit out. It ain't doing nothing for you. Now, if I inject it in my veins because I'm bleeding out, then that's a difference. But that's not the same concept. Me rubbing it over my body is not. That doesn't do it for me. Now, whoever else practice, however they practice, that's show business. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But don't judge somebody else because they practice differently.
And that's it's like when I came, I mean, because you are Foxy. It's like when I came on my journey. You know how many Christians, pastors judge me? Like, are you evil? You a devil? So I used to always. This is what I say. I was like, I'm not throwing no shots, but I say it's saying y'all good book that he got hair like wool, eyes like fiery red, skins like bronze, which is look like us. But I was like, well, why when you walk in a building, it's something totally different? Can y'all explain it to me? They was like, leave me alone.
And here's the thing, they get so offended. And again, I'm not bashing nobody. Believe what you believe, because I believe that there's a pathway home for everybody. And all of these things are here to show us something, right? But if I go into a building where the person that you're representing on the wall doesn't match the person that's in your book, right? What you are doing in ritual doesn't even match what the book told you to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many things that are just so different and distorted because it's missing. There's so many parts that's missing. You look for the Book of Wars that's mentioned in the Bible, is not in the Bible. It's so many things that they stripped out. Again, we know the 10 Commandments are based off the 42 laws of Ma'at. Why did you take ancient wisdom and knowledge that is supposed to edify us spiritually and distort it and mix things up in such a way. It is to keep the population asleep and subservient to something else. People think that, okay, Armageddon or the apocalypse is down the line. How do you not know that you are already worshiping the beast? Ooh, controversy, right? But that don't look like what's in your book. You know, you eating flesh and drinking blood. When water is the flow of life, your vessel is made of how much percentage of water? Most babies don't even need water when they first are born because they are so concentrated with water. You are born in water. Amniotic fluid surrounds you in your early development. Why are you doing this? But you go to the altar, you get rubbed down with oil, you pray, you invoke spirits, you do all of that. But then when I'm over here practicing my spirituality, you want to call me a witch. How can you tell the difference? Is that not like the pot calling the kettle black?
That
I don't understand it.
The motherfucker called me a fucking warlock here like a while ago, and I came on my journey. Like, I guess a warlock is supposed to be a male witch, whatever. But you know, as you said in the movie, or they civilize warlocks as, oh, that's a bad thing, they're evil, they cause chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But if you break it down, Mayet is about peace, balance, harmony. So how can I, and God is Mayet telling me, I'm telling y'all what Mayet is. So I don't go off like I was like that, but I don't even let people offend me no more, because I just like, y'all the one lost, and not necessarily I'm saying they lost, but why I say they lost, because anytime somebody can't focus on more what you got going on and what they supposed to be going on, they mean they lost.
Exactly. That's where I got down to in the show yesterday. It was all about self-mastery, coming to the point of mastering self, right? And I took it as an opportunity again to look at myself and find out, why does this bother you so much? Why is it irritating you? Let's dig into that emotion and unpack you. And I got down to the fact that I don't like hypocrisy. I don't. You know, and it's an issue with me to contend with hypocrisy and people setting themselves up over other people in terms of judgment. Like, you can have a speck in your eye and you can think that you can look at me clearly. That is so far from the truth. And then I've heard people say, well, I don't do that thing, so I can talk to you about that thing. Okay, well, no, because you still do something else. Let thee without sin cast the first stone. So you don't even follow your own text, but you are so quick to judge the next person.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even follow that. Like, and look, y'all know we not throwing no shots, so I don't want y'all to get offended when y'all heard this talk a lot to you. I don't want y'all mostly to get offended, but this just some y'all need to know, and I'm not throwing no shots, because I didn't been under the church. I didn't been in the church, and I was like, you giving these 10%, the pastor driving this, but your light bill finna get your shit finna get turned off. Or you need gas for your car, you need food, but they tell you every time, tie 10% of this. And they don't say, give me what's left, they want the gross. They want what you make. And another thing that sit right with me, why do churches have you fill the application? I want to know where you work at, how much you making. Why is y'all doing that? And another thing I don't sit right with me, I'm not throwing no fucking shots, this is how I felt. Why do y'all got ATM machines in y'all church?
Because again, it's the same reason why the messenger went in the church and flipped all that ish over. Because see, the messenger did not preach or teach in the church. That is the difference. So if they're messenger, they roll up on a messenger and he's sitting on the side of the hill next to the river, talking and conversing about spirituality, about the concepts of the Most High God, that which sent him to be. Then they would do the same thing to the messenger today that was done back then. If the messenger came today and operated in the same fashion, most people would still put him on the cross.
Yeah, and not that, they're gonna put him on the upside down.
Exactly. And because people are so indoctrinated and so programmed to believe that this is the way. But we have to think about, where did it come from? How did it disseminate? We don't think about religious wars and the the Inquisition. We don't think about the Crusades. We don't think about all of this stuff that's so far removed from a historical standpoint that people get amnesia and forget how was this disseminated, because most people did not accept it. They had to be threatened with life and death in order to just to exist. If you didn't accept it, they were going to kill you.
Exactly. I don't know why it's popped in my conscience, but it's fucking crazy, but it's the truth. Like,
But that's kind of like, and I grew up in the church. My grandparents owned a family church. My grandfather was a pastor. My grandmother was an evangelist. You know what I mean? I was in the church until maybe like my late 20s. But I've always questioned. It was always so many things that just didn't make sense to me. Like I said, the story of Mary and Joseph, the story of Adam and Eve, Noah and the ark, a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. For example, Enoch. Enoch was taken up. He pleased the Lord so well that Enoch did not experience death. He was the first example that they really talk about in the text of just being taken up, risen, ascension, essentially. Enoch ascended. How did that happen? They cut all of that out. And then when you go and find the hidden text of what really was going on with Enoch, it's like, wow. It explains so many other things that are mystical, that we would consider mythical, angels and Nephilims. But they talk about this and they glaze over it, and they barely teach you about it. So then we don't realize that, yes, we are star seeds, that earth angels exist, that is so much more going on that they don't want you to tap into. And when you find it from an indigenous standpoint, then it's like, oh, you a witch or a warlock. No, it's in your Bible if you read it.
And that's what really made me start questioning. I used to question a lot of shit because, like I said, I was in seminary school, so I was on my way to become a pastor, and I was going to be a prosperity pastor. Let's just be real. But it's like it didn't add. I was like, this is not me. Something is not right about this. So I was like, nah, the church ain't for me no more. There's someone I step down and got to tap into my spiritual side. Oh, you evil. Like, look, I didn't have real Haitians and real Jamaicans told me that I look Haitian and Jamaican. So with that being said, I'm knowing the path I'm on. It's what my ancestors want. This is the path I'm supposed to be on from the get-go. Because like when I was young, I always was gifted. I always used to like see. I can see like in the spiritual world, you want to say that, like I used to always see like little images, little ghosts. Like one day I seen like the fucking Grand Reaper with some green eyes. So as me growing, I was young. I was always seeing like in the spiritual world, I always see like little shadows, like little ghosts. But it's like I wasn't never scared until I got older and got in. And I hate to say it, until I got in Christianity, because they making everything wrong. That's evil. Like you don't need to talk to no psychic. That's the devil. Like. But I've been like this my whole life. I ain't never had no problem with what I seen until I got in the church. And I'm not throwing no shots, just how they manipulate you to make it seem like what's wrong. But for real, what they doing is really wrong because they not explaining everything and they not breaking everything down. Then they reading this and on the wall, it sees the Bagori on the wall. Explain it.
Yes. And, in all fairness, a lot of the New Age teachers, these pastors have been given an agenda. It is how they are taught to teach. You know what I mean? It's like, but we have to go back up the chain to figure out, okay, who is telling you to teach it this way? And I'm going to just touch on a brief history here in the States. When we know that there's indigenous African Americans, right? We were already here, Black Americans, but there's also those who were brought over from from Africa here and giving them some sort of religion. They wrote the same way that the Willie Lynch syndrome was something that a practice that they instituted in order to break a person. It's the same way they had a way of teaching us religion. And that has not changed. It is a book on how to make a Negro Christian. And people don't know that they had a specific agenda on what to teach us and how to teach us in order to give us some sort of spiritual connectivity, but do it in a way that where they can control the population. And if you can control a person's salvation, then you can control them. That is their ultimate, especially when they had already separated us from our ancestral cultural way of practicing spirituality in general. It's a reason why all of that indigenous information was attempting to be wiped out, to be washed away. So again, I asked the question, how do you know that you're not already worshiping the beast? It's a heavy question, but that's why I always put that warning in there. Trigger. If you are unable to question what you're doing, the fact that we live in the matrix, everybody is saying that. We live in the matrix. We want to bring down a veil, but it's only certain places that you are willing to look at, certain places that you are willing to investigate, to question. Why? Because you've been told that you can't question. Anything that tells you you cannot question, you should definitely question.
Because look, I say something wrong, how can you can't question nothing? And that's how you learn, by questioning things. Why they don't, so you know it don't make sense. Then I want to touch on you. Our ancestors were spiritual people. I'm thinking of the smoke signal, then I'm thinking of the Indians, the Cherokee Indians, Blackfoot, whatever it is in your lineage, because we're all Native American. I'm thinking like they used the smoke signal. They sat around the fire and they contact their ancestors, their spirit guides. It was not in no building. So
right.
And look, y'all, we not throwing no shots, but it's in y'all good book y'all read. It don't say nothing about a denomination, but you got so many denominations and they don't even get along with each other.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it's not just about reading the text, study it. When you study that book, it leads you to other books. That book was my foundation, so I'm not throwing no shade on it. But the fact that I studied and I did what it says, seek diligently. And to seek diligently doesn't mean I'm going to look in the same spot. If it leads me to a question, I have the ability to ask. We have not because we ask not. So therefore, I'm going to ask for the knowledge. And as things continue to come to you, be open to receiving and understand that, yes, there are other forces at play, things that would seek to control you, to keep you in a place where you feel submissive and subjugated and unable to realize your true purpose. And you could start with just those two relationships that we talked about, Adam and Eve and Mary and Joseph. How did they operate together? What was the fulfillment? Is it trials and tribulations and karma that was developed, or are you going to come together in purpose and bring something that's a message on that will change the world, that will last through generations? It's really being able to see it, pull back and see the forest for the trees, essentially.
Like, it's a good ass conversation, man. Like, that's why I know I had to bring it on. That's why I say I'm just gonna call it Talk That Talk with Lati, because I knew it's mature, and that's why I'm just listening, because how you breaking it down. But like some of the stuff I know, that's why I really step away. Like, this don't sit right with me. A lot of stuff is, and I'm not gonna say we're not throwing no shots. Life is, you better seek knowledge on this journey, and you better grow, because I ain't gonna lie, for a lot of people that's still got that title and they still stagnant, like they still haven't make it in life. And I'm gonna just use me as an example. Since I came on my journey, I didn't manifest so much stuff, like, and I ain't have to pray. Like I said, I don't even pray. I just like talk to my ancestors. But I used to get on my knees and pray. I don't got to do that. I can just think of something, be like, this is what I want to come, universe. God is my ancestors, and it'll come. Like, then another thing kills me, like, I don't get it. And I'm not throwing no shots. It's just, I always wanted to speak on this, because that'll really turn me away from the whole Christian faith. Like, y'all y'all said the son of God that y'all called him for been coming back since I was little. I'm 37 now. When is the sky gonna crack? Why he ain't came back?
But see, that's future faking. Think about it. When we look at relationships now, the biggest thing that people talk about is narcissism. And one of the traits of narcissism, right, egocentric based personality. But one of the tenets is gaslighting, right? That's one. Another one is future faking. If I can say that something's going to happen in a far off distance and you never know what's going to happen, so you got to stay in line because just in case and when it happens, right, then you're going to continue to do what I want you to do. And that's the same thing. A person can be promising you like this, oh, I want to take you to such and such, or I was just planning to go here, or you want to leave now and I just was getting ready to do this, or we getting ready to do that, or I have plans for you to do this, and plans never come to fruition. They never come about. And it keeps you waiting and waiting and waiting. And while you're waiting, you on your knees and you are praying to what? You are missing the fact that you are directly connected. Directly connected. I don't need to pray to anything on the outside of me. It keeps you looking on the out instead of on the in. I can go inside the kingdom, the walking, living, breathing kingdom, touch base with my spirit, my highest self, and I'm connected, period. The Most High God is omnipresent. It is wherever I'm at.
I'm glad I connected with you because there's a lot of shit I question. Like you just said, I didn't understand how a person had to go sit in the booth and talk to the priest while the priest went to God or whoever y'all want to call him. It's a lot of stuff I did not understand, lie to you. And it's a lot of stuff I used to question myself. And like you said, when you try to question them, they be like, oh, that's not, you shouldn't question that because this is what it said right here.
Yeah. They tell you not to question, and that's just their way of saying that they don't understand, that they don't know themselves, that it hasn't been given on to them, or they were taught not to teach it. You know, it wasn't in their curriculum. They go to, like you said, seminary school, and they get taught what to teach the same way that psychologists get taught, the same way that doctors get taught. It is the same thing. They don't mean no harm by it because they just don't know. Therefore, you know, it's like, okay, this took me down the road that I'm on. But because I chose to study, because I chose to be diligent, because we're seeking knowledge, it led me in a different pathway. It took me to something bigger, something that was more edifying, something that actually feeds my spirit, that puts me in touch with my spirit and with the Most High God itself. And that doesn't make me a witch. And if that's what you want to call me, then, I mean, so be it. You only talking about yourself, right? Because what you say and call me is really a reflection of your own beliefs.
And look, I just want to say this, like, I don't care what they say. They consider you a witch, you consider me a warlock. I don't care what they say. You cool. I'm glad I met you. I'm glad you met you. I don't care what I'm trying to judge. Like you said, trying to judge somebody for what they follow, what they do. That mean they the one got the skeletons in the closet. They just don't know how to get the skeletons in the closet. So they'd rather turn somebody else's life or turn somebody else down and tell somebody else some lies before they say the truth. So, man, this is a good ass conversation. I just want to say anything else you want to share.
I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so glad to speak to other, like-minded individuals. Like I said, I pray the audience was ready for the conversation. If you wasn't, I pray that you are able to receive and those with eyes to see and ears to hear will receive. And it's like you said, it's not about throwing shade or throwing shots at anybody. It's about us thinking about things differently. How do we take all of these experiences and interactions and grow ourselves? That was the purpose, again, the Tears and Weeks Road show on YouTube. But what we discussed last night was, how do I look at, these interactions, my response to them, and learn about self-mastery? What is it telling me about me? Oh, so I don't like hypocrisy in this way. I don't like how this prevents people from expressing themselves or their spirituality, or making them feel like they're different or ostracized or isolated. And to create an environment where we understand that we are whole, we are complete, there's nothing broken and there's nothing missing. There's a pathway for each and every piece of creation back to that which made it, which is the Alpha and the Omega. So that is my purpose. That's my cause. And to have a candid conversation in this space has been amazing. And I thank you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your audience. And yeah, this was fabulous.
I wanted to say that's why, and it makes sense. That's why I say I'm on the right journey. And I don't read stuff. I just go off my intuition and my spirit guides and my ancestors. And I always wonder why I always place my business savvy women, because the women are really the alpha. And I hate to say everybody knows your boy, he got this game from a female. All the shit I know to do, I know to, like, from the way I speak, the way I know to plant flowers, the way I take care of myself, the way I got OCD. All that came from a woman. A woman taught me that. I was heard by my great auntie Carol, rest her soul. But she taught me all this, so now it makes sense. The female is the alpha.
Yeah. But again, like we said, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending. You know what I mean? It's something to be. Every time I think about that male attribute in the Omega, I think about the Qs, right? You think about that fraternity and how masculine, emoting they are, like that energy. But the sign that they have is the Omega symbol. It is not an Alpha symbol. So it's just about how things have been twisted and distorted, changing it, making it nuanceical. But again, those are the things that make the big difference, right? I can change punctuation or the inflection in my tone and change something from a statement to a question. It could be the same words, but what is my intention when I'm saying them? People, it's time for us to wake up and just start thinking about things differently. Question everything. And if they tell you you can't question it, that would be the very thing that I question.
And I do agree. Man, look, this was such amazing conversation. Like, we down there went for an hour.
And that's short for us. We can go down the rabbit hole. We just touching the surface, but I love it, and it was so dynamic. I knew that it would be, though. I knew that it would be.
Man, appreciate you hanging and putting up on Seeking Knowledge Podcast. So look, you got a lot going on. So how would Seeking Knowledge supporters? How can they support you? How can they find you? Where can they find you at?
Oh, they definitely can find me on YouTube. It is Tares, like the Tares in Wheat Parable, Tare, like Echo S, and Wheat, Terrell Show. It's on YouTube. We're growing. Thank you so much for all of you guys' support in advance. Also, I'm on the OWL app, OWWLL, so you guys can follow me over there, and then we can have personal one-on-one conversations. I'm on Facebook as well, Tares and Wheat Terrell Show on Facebook. Everything is consistent, and if you just want to email me, it's taresandwheatterrellshow@gmail.com.
I love it. So y'all know me, man. Y'all can find me on Facebook as DeMarcus Brewster. You can find me on Instagram as Pharaoh33. You can find me on the OWL app as DeMarcus Brewster, aka Pharaoh33. Man, you can find me everywhere. But look, thank y'all for listening. Always rocking with me. Y'all support Lati, man. Like, she got a good heart, man. She got a lot going on. So I'm telling y'all, look, please support her. Like, check out her YouTube channel. Like, she good what she doing. You can see the energy. You can see that everything she's doing on her channel. Like, it's real. Like, tap into that. And y'all know I always leave this with y'all. You're not a failure if you fall. You're a failure when you stay down there. Now get back up. It's a new year. Dust yourself off. Yeah, if y'all want to be a guest on my podcast, reach out to me to Seeking Knowledge Podcast 33@gmail.com.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. It was a great opportunity, and I know I'll be speaking to you soon, brother.
You will. You try the rest of that.
You too. Bye now, y'all.
Bye.